In wilds beyond they speak your name with reverence and regret. For none could tame our savage souls, yet you the challenge met. Under palest watch you taught. Now hold on a minute. There's a mod for this. I have no obligation to read this to you. I'm leaving.
No, Quirrel, wait, no! Oh, there goes my free audiobook. Hey guys, welcome to Silksong once again. And today, as you can see, I am Small Hornet, because Big Hornet wasn't enough Hornet. So, today I decided that I would be playing Silksong Hollow Knight, because, first of all, I'm funny, and second of all, my initial plan I had for the video completely fell through. So this is what we're doing now. I don't have a lot of time. Let's get into it. Time to do the thing that I did my first time ever playing this game, which is just finding this immediately. I don't know why I figured this would be here, but I did. So this is just going to be a pretty chill playthrough, hoping you don't mind that. I don't really have any specific goals or anything here, besides I just want to play. In my opinion, there aren't nearly enough videos on Hollow Knight. I say this because I'm obsessed and like watching random people play the game. But there aren't enough of those kinds of videos, and so I'm making my own. So then I can watch myself, which is a little weird, not gonna lie. So yeah, let's see. So here, can I make it? Oh, no, not quite. That was sad. Clearly, I need to hold A to focus if I'm making mistakes like that. Now for the door. That takes so long to break. Hollow Nest could have been active when I started breaking it, and it would still have fallen by the time I'm done.
Eh?
Now, we always talk to Elderbug, but there's really no reason not to. It's just sad to leave him.
Oh there, traveler. I'm afraid there's only me left to offer welcome. Our town's fallen quiet, you see. The other residents, they've all disappeared. This town was once full of people excited about Silksong, but as the wait grew longer and longer, I'm afraid most of us went quite mad, or else decided to play something else instead. Over time, Silksong became more of a myth than anything people actually believed existed, and even the most adamant fans left. I'm only still here because the rent was cheap. Perhaps dreams aren't such great things after all.
Well, that was interesting. This is everyone's favorite room. Room with such random bouncing about by those gruzzer things that, Oh, I forgot how sad he sounded. Hello. Let's say hi to Quirrel.
Ah, Hornet. I haven't seen you since you locked me in your closet and forced me to read you the Elegy of Hollow Nest. Though I think you were taller then.
Quirrel, is this how you greet everyone, is just calling them short? Seriously, I'm just small-boned.
At any rate, it's always nice to see a kidnapping freak of inconsistent height.
Okay, well, he was rude. It's like he didn't like getting locked into a room and, forced to read my dialogue for me. Weird. So I'm going to do things in an intentionally kind of obtuse order. For one thing, I want the grub. This does end up being a bit of a complicated process, though, just because Vengefly doesn't always want to cooperate with my plans of skipping, needing dash. Oh, I missed. I'm just trying to increase my odds, but no, see, it goes right down to the bottom. It doesn't know what's up. It doesn't know. That's being stupid. There we go. Okay. No, no. How was I supposed to deal with that? Burn for your sins. Okay, maybe that was a bit much. Let's keep going. Ah, this room. Now, there are a few little tricks I've learned. Because up here, as I'm sure a lot of you already know, there's that mask shard. And people like to try pogoing this guy to get there. But it can be a bit tricky to know how to actually get that thing. Because, like I demonstrated earlier, Vengeflies are not very nice when it comes to being corralled to do specific things. Because see, if you go along here, you just want to run into those guys. So I'm going to show you how I tend to try to get him to cooperate. However, the trick is, you've got to make sure he's high enough when you do this. Now you just make sure to jump enough that his pathfinding worked, which in this case it didn't, as you can see from the coins, or geo drop here. I also like keeping that guy alive to save a little bit of soul, because if you can keep whacking that guy whenever you come back in here, it does save you a substantial amount of, come on. Vengefly, don't die. Come on, do your job. Do your job. Fulfill your destiny. No! Let's see if this is the run. Do it. I don't think you're doing it. Here's one more tip for this. If you're coming into this room from over here, and you try to kill yourself on spikes, it just brings you on that end of the room. So that's not useful. Unfortunately, you do have to enter the room from the other side because of how the respawn points work. So you come through here, you can just walk right back. And time for another attempt. Oh no, it's going to die again. No. Oh, you didn't. It's a Christmas miracle! And behold, the first mask shard. It only took me like 5 attempts maybe, which each only take a few seconds. So to recap, the most important parts of this are you enter from this side of the room, keep this guy down here alive for a little bit of extra soul if you like, and then what you need to do is get the Vengefly that was here, lure it over here, and then die on those spikes. If you do it fast enough, then it'll have a little more momentum, like you saw there, even though it seemed like it was too low. Because I'd approached with enough speed, then it was still able to get over to where I was when I respawned. Sometimes their attention does just disappear completely, like me, and so sometimes you do need to try a couple times without it even being because they died, it's just because they're stupid, like me. But eventually you tend to be able to get it, in my experience. Now, another thing that is nice about picking up these geopiles is just the fact that if you get the geopiles, then you have a little bit more pocket change to spend on things that are just kind of frivolous rather than necessary. The first thing I tend to get is Gathering Swarm when I think about it, because Gathering Swarm just makes it a lot less tedious to have to collect the money from enemies and things. So now this is the first boss that I'm fighting, but really, does this count as a boss? I mean, that's the best it can do. It can just flop on the ground helplessly, and on the ceiling. I've never seen that before. Wow. Why did it do that? That's like next levels of pathetic. Okay. These guys don't tend to be a challenge. It is faster to kill them when you have Vengeful Spirit. I just like bothering Sly first because Gathering Swarm is nice for even things like just grabbing the Geo from the False Knight's loot chest, which might sound lazy. That's because it is. So now here's something funny. I feel like this room, they hid the Geo rock very well. I found it immediately, and again, I don't know how. That's just one of those things that feels like it's super well hidden, and yet it seems that almost everyone just found it. Is that the sign of a good hiding place or a bad one if everyone just naturally thinks to look there, even though it's obtuse? It's like that Hellnest seal found in King's Station as well, to where, like, no one should know where it is, and yet everyone just kind of found it on their own. And that's interesting. I'd be curious to know what the science is behind what things in these games are and aren't found easily. Now here's my tip for you. Anytime you're passing through this room for any reason, always fight these guys. Because once you know their patterns, they're not that hard to get around. And since the Hunter's Journal requires you to kill a few of these, there's really no reason not to. Just go for it early, since once the crossroads become infected, then there is fewer of them that you can kill in one sweep. Okay, let's see about getting that Gathering Swarm. And then... oh, I almost have enough for a Mask Shard. 3 short, of course. Yet another reason why geocaches are only mostly useless. Okay, so I could go fight the first real boss. Ironic, since his name is False. Like, that's in his title, so funny to call him the first real of anything. Okay, now it's time to fight the False Knight. The true boss. You know, that man for his money. Because I don't think these guys drop money if they're killed by the False Knight. Because False Knight, I guess, ate the money. Okay, let's see. This really doesn't take that long when you know what you're doing. Kind of a really good first boss in my opinion. Like, I've seen people die on their first attempt here, but usually not the second. Okay. Smack his face again. He's also just got such a punchable face that, like, they perfectly encourage you to, that you didn't know that door was open. Actually, no, you definitely didn't know that door was open. But yeah, in case you didn't know, if ever for any stupid reason you don't want to fight this boss, you can just break that barrier after he tantrums for the first time. And then you can just skip fighting him. He's so easy to defeat that there's no real reason to skip him. But you definitely can. Now here's something that you legitimately might not have known about. Look at this guy. One reason I can see for skipping him is to dream nail this little guy, because he's pretty funny. I do have to wonder how the maggot even got that guy on the end of his club, but clearly he wasn't secured very well. Wait, no, he'd have to be secured super well. Because otherwise, how would he have stayed there when False Knight was swinging it around like a lunatic? Huh. Things to think about. Kill the skulls, kill the skulls, kill the skulls. No more skulls for you.
Hey, buddy, you wanna buy a watch? See this one? This one needs a laser beam.
Okay, and the snail is dead. Good to know. Okay. I like how they use that fact that there is a bug here, and then these boards, to where you can see that the Vengeful Spirit can break both at once. That was a very clever demonstration of what it can do, actually. Kind of interesting, because I feel like this place was made with a lot of care. Like, the boulders take just long enough to kill with your nail that you have reason to want to fireball them. At the same time, they're not so tricky to defeat that if you're out of soul, that you can't deal with them. And they've got just little enough health that they can be one-shot by the Vengeful Spirit. So it all comes together to be a very neat little tutorial. And then to top it off, the way that they make sure that if someone's struggling, they have a chance of finding this lifeblood here, means that the first Elder Boulder you encounter will be a lot easier than the one guarding Green Path. Yes, spit your children at me! Spit them faster! Yes. I kill you with the power I gain from murdering your children. Hey. Hey. Can I get out? Okay, let's see. Oh! I was going to sit on the snail bench. Oh, I did sit at the snail bench. Never mind. So now, for a little field trip. Up to this point, I've been going basically the intended route. But I'm sure you know where I'm going. Brooding Molech is a very tricky fight for this stage of the game. But I struggled enough with it that I ended up having to get good. As long as you don't take it too lightly on a Steel Soul run or something, it's very rarely actually problematic at any point of the game, once you've understood what it can and can't do. That's one thing I really like about Hollow Knight's combat system, is that a lot of the bosses have just simple and intuitive enough patterns that you are able to learn to adapt around them. Now granted, not all bosses are like that, but they manage the right level of complexity and simplicity to these fights, to the point where I'm actually a little concerned as to whether I'll be able to wrap my mind around Silksong when it does come out. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I have done this without any equipment before. It's just a little more tedious than I liked. Already this fight takes a while, because again, they expect you to find this once you have Wall Cling. Before you have the Mantis Claw, it is a very tedious fight to do. Once you know how to really take advantage of Vengeful Spirit, though, it's not too bad. I would also just bring up, as it's spitting the acid that covers an entire half of the arena, you can easily get in some good hits just by pogoing on it. After it's spat its acid, don't try to do that when it's about to spit, or you'll just get a face full of acid, which is the opposite of what the goal is. Unless you're into that sort of thing, I don't know. I'm not here to judge. I'm just playing Hollow Knight and saying it's Silksong because reasons. Okay, well, I could go for Grubberfly rewards, but I think it's more satisfying to wait until I've got a few more grubs and just let him spend his entire afternoon giving me money. You know, I feel kind of sad killing these guys, but kind of necessary for progression and all that. Except the ones blocking Boulder Shell, which it's only if you're going for Zalubra's Blessing that becomes necessary. Like, does anyone actually use Boulder Shell I've seen a couple cases where people, by bending over backwards, were able to find a way to use it. But if a charm takes that level of thought in order to be useful, it's not useful. I also usually skip that bench entirely. Not because I'm skilled or anything, but just because having to go up there seems like a pain. Oh! It's me! Hi! Oh, you left. Or I left. I'm going to show you a little trick here. There we go. So I've got that. I could go over here, and it's a shortcut for sure. But I want Hunter's Journal. There are a couple of grubs down here that I can grab. So I'm not actually going to use that skip. But I just like showing it off. There's a lot of fun stuff you can do in this game that isn't necessarily something I'm going to take full advantage of in this playthrough. But I just want to show you what's possible. So like for getting the speedrunner achievements, then knowing how to do that can be very important. Another tip I'll give, because apparently this is a tips channel now, is don't crush those guys with these blocks, because that doesn't count for the Hunter's Journal. Those mossy guys who don't look infected are really hard to get enough of for the Hunter's Journal. So killing any of them manually that you can is a good idea. This is another case where, like, it's so tempting, but you shouldn't smush these men flat. The reward is not worth the trouble. Now, oh, interesting. Because of the fact that I technically took a shortcut and then just backtracked, then Hornet isn't standing here like she usually is. Now, I have a question. Does anyone actually understand Oon lore without just looking it up? Because Oon lore seems very confusing. And, like, this one isn't even really helpful. Does Oon even have laws? What is the law of Oon? Or Un is probably how it's supposed to be pronounced, but I prefer Oon. It sounds more mysterious. And there's this room, which I just failed terribly. That was laughable. These enemies, not these little ones, but these enemies do a good job of encouraging you to use Vengeful Spirit more, because it takes multiple hits in order to actually deal with them if you don't use a Vengeful Spirit. Oh, hi, me! Goodbye, me. Oh, hi, me. Do you want to tell me where Silksong is? You want to tell me? Oh, no, she's scared. She's scared of me asking about Silksong. Or just about seeing her clone walking around. But that could be it as well. Now, it occurs to me that I have yet to really talk about this skin, for the most part. Like, this is adorable. They managed to give us a little baby Hornet skin here. And it's majestic, like... It is perfect. I don't like some of these charm equivalents that they ended up doing, but for the most part, this is great. By the way, this little entrance here, in case you didn't know, is where that shortcut that we took can take you. Oh, these guys respawn. Why did you respawn? Why are you an enemy that respawns every time you enter a scene? That's just kind of mean. Now here's something fun. If you slash at this guy, then you see how he's just kind of chill. Usually, it's when you try to leave that the door closes and this guy wakes up. But if you slash at him early... useless. That actually surprised me. I thought for sure that last slash would have hit me. Hello there. I just missed most of those shots. I am a master of marksman. This is why I don't play shooter games for the most part. Because my aim is not exactly worth applauding. Yep. Damage. Well. That was a bit of a waste.
Hey, what do you think you're doing? Do you know how much it cost me to buy that pet Vengefly? I'll have you know it took me more geo than you could ever see in your pitiful little life. I ought to take Life Ender and put it right through your eye holes.
But weren't you being murdered?
No, it was giving me a nice back massage. There's a difference. Only uncultured fools like yourself could make such a mistake. I had everything under control, and could absolutely not feel my ribs breaking as it crunched my flesh.
Okay, good to know he had it under control. Goodbye. What a nice guy he was. Wasn't he just the greatest? Okay, now it's time to wedge myself into a corner where I will probably die. Oh, double kill. That was fun. I took more damage there than I really had to, just because of general incompetency. Okay, 3 masks. That's enough. I don't have the patience to try to get more. Hey! There we go, little grub. Hello? You want to talk about Silksong? Wait. No. Wait.
Neco-Knight! Neco-Knight! No! He was the entire comedic value of my channel! No! This is a disaster! This is the worst thing that's happened.
Or maybe the second worst thing that's happened to me this year. You know, this year's already been interesting.
What am I gonna do without Neco-Knight? No! Die! No! You do not get...
There we go. Okay. Neco-Knight, you have been avenged. You've been avenged. Neco-Knight. No. Neco-Knight? Can you let me out? Neco-Knight? Little help? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Neco-Knight.
No! You've killed Neco-Knight. That was my favorite character. And the entire comedic value of your YouTube channel, too. You need to be dealt with. Ladies, if you will assist me.
Yes, Lurien. No, wait. It wasn't me. It was Hornet.
Wait a minute. Ow! Well, that was pointless.
So, I wasn't even initially planning on doing an outro, but then the video just seemed unfinished without it. So, I went to record my outro, and my microphone died. So, see ya. See ya next week. We'll see what I can do.
What are you doing with my saliva? No, come back. Give it back.